and pitfalls of deepfakes and the potential misuse in the election campaign. Tonight, we will get you a follow-up expose which shows how some AI operators have actually started using deepfakes at the behest of our political parties to slander and target their opponents. That investigation is my top focus on the Newstrack.
Insidious, devious, and intrusive. These fakes can fool anyone. Netas now deepfake targets. With India's big election ahead, deepfakes erupting big time. Fully weaponized to deceive. And to destroy reputations. Deepfakes, the new enemy number one. Operation Deepfakes, India Today's special investigation.
We have two investigative reports lined up for you tonight. Before I get to them, let me take you through the headlines I'm tracking today. India alliance split wide open over the prime ministerial face after Mamata Banerjee proposed Mallikarjun Kharge's name. Sharad Pawar now says there's no need for the opposition to have a PM face. Politics peaks over Ram Mandir invitation. Sitaram Yechuri says he will not attend the consecration ceremony. Left leader says the event has been politicized. BJP slams Akhilesh Yadav after Samajwadi Party leader Swami Prasad Maurya provokes, calls the Hindu religion a fraud. BJP asks, why is the India bloc targeting only Hindus? Tamil Nadu flood politics escalates. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman reviews the flood situation, chairs meeting with officials. Stalin government seeks more funds from the centre. Conman Sukesh Chandrasekhar's jailhouse debauchery. He harassed and stalked actor Jacqueline Fernandez from Tihar jail. WhatsApp messages by Sukesh to Jacqueline accessed by India Today. Deepfake technology, once confined to the realm of science fiction, is now being widely wielded as a potent weapon in the political arena. We've seen this internationally. It's now happening here as well. An India Today investigation has exposed clandestine operations of digital manipulators, revealing their methods to manipulate public opinion and influence elections, in particular by targeting their political opponents. Here's the first part of this report by Muhammad Hizbullah.
Altering history from 1969, an MIT experiment conducted 4 years ago.
Good evening, my fellow Americans. Fate has ordained that the men who went to the moon to explore in peace will stay on the moon to rest in peace.
The then US president, through the magic of deepfake technology, announces the failure of the Apollo moon landing.
Well may be the problem here, and we can monitor don't.
Now it's no longer about altering history, it's about influencing the present and shaping the future. India Today's investigation has uncovered a thriving industry in India, a network of digital sorcerers offering their services to influence voters and manipulate elections. Meet Rohit Pal, the founder of the digital publicity in Noida. Our cover involves identifying potential candidates for the general elections in 2024 and planning their campaign, specifically focusing on creating deepfake videos to discredit their opponents. And this is what he offered.
हम ऑनलाइन इनकी इमेजेस क्रिएट करेंगे, अच्छी इमेज बनाएंगे, एनिमेशंस वीडियोस बनाएंगे, जो कि अदर पार्टीज होंगी उनके लाइक जो कैंडिडेट्स हैं उनको दिखा के उनकी जो गलतियाँ हैं उनको थोड़ा सा फूलिश दिखा के बेसिकली, क्योंकि आजकल क्या होता है कि अगर आप कैंडिडेट को ही थोड़ा सा फूलिश दिखा दें,
ये जो और आजकल वो जो चल गया AI जनरेटेड जो वीडियो जो हो रहा है
वो सर वो कंप्लीट है इसी चीज़ में, डिजिटल में ही है। वो मैंने बताया ना, वो एनिमेटेड वीडियोस, AI वीडियोस लाइक इस फेस हम जनरेट करके हम जो रिटर्न देंगे, कंटेंट देंगे, वो स्पेल होगा वो वीडियो
फेस जनरेट करके मतलब
फेस लाइक जैसे कि किसी भी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी का फेस लगा दिया, लीडर का या किसी और का फेस लगा दिया, फिर जो हम कमांड देंगे रिटर्न में, फिर वो वहाँ से प्रोनाउंस होगा। लाइक देखिए
अच्छा।
वीडियोस। हाँ,
तो ये रियल लगता है या फिर लगता है
सर रियल लगता है,
टाइम ज़्यादा लगता है या नहीं लगता?
कम लगता है टाइम।
अच्छा
हाँ, टाइम कम लगता है क्योंकि ये AI सारा काम कर रहा है, हमको सिर्फ कमांड देना है।
अच्छा
हाँ, हमको कमांड देना, वो सारी चीज़ें वो करता है, वो पे टूल्स होते हैं, फिर वो पूरा वर्क कर देता है अपना।
अच्छा, वो पेड टूल्स होते हैं। तो कितना मिनट लगता है एक मिनट की वीडियो बनाने में?
सर हार्डली 20-25 मिनट्स।
तो क्या ये पॉलिटिकल पार्टी यूज कर रही है अभी?
सर बिल्कुल कर रहे हैं।
Rohit Pal now explained that such deepfakes are created through subscription-based apps.
मेरे क्या कॉस्ट हो रहा है वो तो नहीं जाना, मैं अपने लिए नॉलेज के अपने नॉलेज
सर अराउंड डॉलर्स में होती है, $25, $30।
एक वीडियो के लिए
नहीं है लाइक हमारे सब उसके एप्लीकेशन के टूल्स के।
तो कितने दिन के लिए सब्सक्रिप्शन होता है?
हाँ सर, लाइक 1 month, 45 days, फिर 6 months, इस तरीके से 30 days, 60 days इस तरीके से होता है।
In a subsequent meeting, Rohit Pal shed more light on the tools and techniques behind their operation.
अच्छा, ये जो वीडियोज होंगी ये किस क्वालिटी की होंगी?
सर HD क्वालिटी अच्छी होती है बिल्कुल।
तो ये पकड़ में आएगा कि नहीं?
पकड़ में सर देखिए ऐसे आता है, अब लोग क्लेम कर देंगे कि फेक है, बस वो चीज़ है। इसके अलावा कोई वो चीज़ पकड़ में नहीं आ रही, किसी को मैं नहीं पकड़ पाएगा।
अच्छा,
जैसे कि आप मैं देख रहे हैं तो हमें लगेगा कि भाई रियल है पूरा। जैसे कमांड हम देंगे तो एज इट इज़ आपकी वॉइस होगी और हम उसको किसी को कमांड दे सकते हैं, वो कुछ भी बोल सकते हैं। जैसे कि मान लीजिए वॉइस को, अब इलेक्शन के टाइम पे वॉइस को रहता है कि ये वॉइस रिकॉर्डिंग लीक हो गई, हाँ तो वहाँ पर हम लीक कर सकते हैं।
अच्छा,
जैसे कि अब कोई वॉइस किसी के नोट था, किसी के वॉइस नोट हो या फिर कॉल रिकॉर्डिंग हो गई, तो वो हमने लाइक उसमें अपनी कमांड दे के जो हमको लग रहा है बेनिफिशियल है हमारे लिए, वो हम कमांड देंगे उसको, देन वो एक ऑडियो रहेगी उसको ऑडियो कर देंगे।
अच्छा, और वीडियो?
और वीडियो भी चल जाएगी, वीडियो अलग से होगी। ये ऑडियो आई थिंक इसको हम यूज़ करेंगे कॉल रिकॉर्डिंग, एज अ कॉल रिकॉर्डिंग।
आजकल डीप फेक वीडियो भी तो आ रही है ना, ये सारा डीप फेक होगा ना?
हाँ, और भी टूल्स हैं सारे यूज़ करेंगे हम।
इसको डीप फेक क्यों कहते हैं मुझे पता नहीं।
क्यों सर, फेक तो फेक है और डीप इसलिए कि बहुत डीपली किसी चीज़ को एकदम आपको रियल दिखा देगा, तो ये थोड़ा सा है कि डीप फेक।
Beware, tech manipulators out to create deepfakes and pump them on social media during the campaign for the 2024 elections. Rohit Pal quoted 5 lakh rupees for a month for one candidate to damage the opponent's reputation with deepfake intimate videos.
आई थिंक तो हम सिंपल अपना सोशल मीडिया हमारा बैक रहेगा, वो तो हमारा डेली प्रोसेस है, वो हमारी चलते रहेगी, ऑनलाइन प्रोसेस है। इसके अलावा जो हम बीच में डीप फेक और कॉल रिकॉर्डिंग्स जो रहेंगे हमारी, इनको हम ऐसे यूज़ करेंगे। बीच में कुछ क्लिप्स होंगे वो आप भी हमें बताएंगे, जैसे कि अब वो भी आप भी हमें गाइड करेंगे कि हाँ इस पॉइंट पे मुझे ये वीडियो रन करवानी है, अभी इसको आप बनाइए, क्रिएट करिए, देन फिर वो हम वीडियो क्रिएट करेंगे।
अच्छा, दूसरी इसका IP वगैरह कहाँ से अपलोड हो?
सब सेट कर लेंगे, IP एड्रेस चेंज कर सकते हो अपना, हम अपने आपको दिखाएंगे US से हम इंडिया में भी काम कर रहे हैं।
क्या चार्ज है?
सर चार्जेस हमारे 5 lakhs for 1 कैंडिडेट,
पूरे कैंपेन का?
एक कैंडिडेट के लिए।
पेमेंट कैसे लेंगे अभी बताइए?
पेमेंट आप बताइए।
आई एम कंफर्टेबल
कैश ज़्यादा बेटर रहेगा।
तो इसमें किस तरह की वीडियोज़ बन सकती हैं, किस तरह की वीडियोज़ बना सकते हैं?
जैसे आप समझ लीजिए एग्जाम्पल के लिए हम फोटो लगा सकते हैं, वो भी प्रॉब्लम नहीं लगेगा।
अच्छा,
वो जो हरकत करेगा वो लगेगा।
और हाइट का क्या करेंगे, वो तो समझ में आ जाएगा।
मैं एक एग्जांपल दिया सर। एग्जांपल दिया। अब इसमें क्या होता है ना, बॉडी देखी जाती है। जैसे मैं आपको थोड़ा और बताऊँ तो जैसे कि इंटीमेट वीडियोस हो गए, तो वहाँ हम अगर सिमिलर बॉडी स्ट्रक्चर, बॉडी लैंग्वेज होता है तो वहाँ हम यूज़ कर सकते हैं।
अच्छा,
ये
अच्छा, तो इंटीमेट वीडियो में आप लोग बॉडी देखते हैं कि बॉडी मैच कर रहा है कि नहीं?
बिल्कुल देखनी पड़ेगी ना सर। अब हम किसी मोटे पे पतले का फेस ही लगा सकते हैं इस तरीके से।
ये तो बहुत खतरनाक चीज़ है। ये तो बहुत खतरनाक चीज़ है।
बस सर वही वाली बात है, जब इसका इतना अच्छा यूज़ भी होगा और आपके लिए फ़ायदा भी होगा। डीफेक यूज़ होता है वीडियोस के लिए।
अच्छा,
हाँ,
तो वीडियोज़ में मतलब बेसिकली क्या करते हैं, हम फेस लगा देते हैं।
फेस लगाते नहीं है। जैसे कि आपकी फ़ोटो है, ठीक है, फिर हर्ष की एक वीडियो है कि डांस कर रही है। मैंने हर्ष की डांस वाली वीडियो को पहले सेलेक्ट किया, देन फिर आपकी फ़ोटो को सिलेक्ट किया, देन स्टार्ट कर दिया। विद इन कुछ मिनट्स लेते हैं, 5 to 10 मिनट्स, वो एक आपकी जस्ट आपके चेहरे को इनके चेहरे को पेस्ट कर देंगे।
तो बेसिकली एक नया वीडियो बना के देता है।
हाँ हाँ, वही नई वीडियो मिल जाती है आप विद न्यू फेस। वीडियो तो पुरानी है बट फेस के साथ नहीं है।
नहीं, जैसे आप इंटीमेट वीडियो की बात कर रहे हो, तो उस वीडियो में फिर आपको इंटीमेट एक्ट कराना होगा ना किसी से, तभी तो आप उस पर पेस्ट कीजिएगा।
हम वीडियो निकाल सकते हैं, ऑलरेडी इतनी सारी वीडियोस हैं, क्रोर्स ऑफ वीडियोस वेब पे हमारे ऑलरेडी अपलोडेड है, कुछ भी यूज़ कर सकते हैं।
Our political landscape at risk from deepfakes. Stay vigilant as we bring more revelations in the second part of this investigation. Mohammad Hezbollah for India Today's Special Investigation Team.
The morning after India Today first exposed the growing menace of deepfakes, Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke out about this challenge and asked society to be vigilant. He's now said that deepfakes are one of the biggest threats to the Indian electoral system. He's also called for a global coalition to fight the negative impact of artificial intelligence. Before I bring you our second expose tonight, let's just take a look at how the Prime Minister reacted to the India Today expose the last time.
ये बड़ा डायनेमिक क्षेत्र है। आप एक सॉल्यूशन निकालेंगे तो ये बेईमानी करने वाले लोग दूसरा रास्ता खोजेंगे। आप दूसरा रास्ते पर काम करेंगे तो तीसरा रास्ता खोलेंगे, और इसलिए ये चोर सिपाही की लड़ाई जैसा एक लगातार नए नए इनोवेशंस करने पड़ते हैं, और उसमें आप लोग काम कर रहे हैं। मैं आपको बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं। नई टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ हमें बहुत सतर्क रहना होता है। अगर इनका नियमों से इस्तेमाल हो तो ये बहुत उपयोगी है, लेकिन अगर गलत तरीके से प्रयोग किया जाए तो इससे बड़ी समस्याएं हो सकती है। आप सब जनरेटिव एआई से बन रहे डीप फेक वीडियोज के बारे में जानते हैं, जो एकदम देखने वाले को एकदम असली दिखते हैं। इसलिए हमें किसी भी वीडियो या फोटो पर विश्वास करने से पहले अधिक सतर्क होने की जरूरत है। भारत एआई को लेकर एक ग्लोबल फ्रेमवर्क बनाने पर भी जोर दे रहा है, और मैं मानता हूं कि ये एक ऐसा नया चुनौती है। आप जैसे नौजवान जो इसमें काम कर रहे हैं वो जरूर आगे भी काम करते रहें।
डीप फेक के कारण जो एक नया संकट आ रहा है, भारत का बहुत बड़ा वर्ग ऐसा है कि उसके पास वेरिफिकेशन के लिए या ऑथेंटिफाई करने के लिए कोई उसके पास पैरेलल व्यवस्था नहीं है, और बाय एंड लार्ज आजादी की लड़ाई से लेकर के भारत में जिस भी चीजें से मीडिया शब्द जुड़ता है उसकी एक इज्जत है। जैसे कोई भी व्यक्ति हो, गेरुए कपड़े हैं तो हमारे यहाँ एक स्वाभाविक उसके विरासत में इज्जत मिल जाती है उसको, वैसा मीडिया को भी है, एक विरासत का लाभ उसको मिलता है। अगर लोगों को एजुकेट कर सकते हैं हम हमारे कार्यक्रमों के द्वारा कि आखिर है क्या, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस कैसे काम कर रहा है, डीप फेक क्या कर सकता है और कितना बड़ा संकट पैदा कर सकता है, और उसमें जो चाहे वो बना सकते हैं जी। मैंने अभी एक वीडियो देखा जिसमें मैं गरबे गा रहा हूं और मैं खुद भी देख रहा क्या बढ़िया बना है। आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस हम जैसी सोसाइटी जो विविधताओं से भरी है, जहाँ पहले मूवी आते थे एक आध कहावत उस मूवी में आ जाए, आती थी चली जाती थी। आज एक आध कहावत आ जाए तो पूरी मूवी चलना बंद हो जाए, मुश्किल हो जाता है कि तुमने उस समाज का अपमान किया, वो किया, ढिकना किया। वो उसने अरबों खरबों करोड़ों रुपया कुछ भी खर्च किया, वो कोई पूछने वाला नहीं है। तुम जवाब दो तुमने क्या किया। ये हाल है। चैट जीपीटी के लोग मिले थे तो मैंने उनको कहा था कि जैसे सिगरेट पे आता है इट्स कैंसरस, पीना तुम्हारी मर्जी, लेकिन लिखा हुआ रहता है ये हेल्थ के लिए हैजार्ड है, ऐसा लिखा हुआ था। तो मैंने कहा तुम्हारा जो भी चैट जीपीटी का उपयोग करता है या कोई इस प्रकार से एआई का उपयोग करता है तो वहां एक आना चाहिए, इट्स अ डीप फेक।
Given the fact that India will soon be heading full throttle into election season, how should media, society, politicians and viewers be dealing with the menace of deepfakes? To talk about this, I'm joined on this broadcast by Guru Prakash Paswan, national spokesperson of the BJP. Mohan Kumaramangalam represents the Congress party. Jitin Jain is a leading cybersecurity expert. With me in the studio, two of my colleagues. Balkrishan heads the India Today fact-check unit, Afwa, the anti-fake news war room. Ankit Kumar heads our open source investigation team. Before I go across to the guests, I want to show you the second part of this investigation, where we plunge further into the shadows of digital manipulation in political campaigns. Muhammad Hizbullah now unveils the disturbing tactics already being employed by several other players in this game of deceit.
Our investigation deepens. This is Rohit Kumar, a political manager at Obian Infotech, a Delhi-based IT services firm. We met him at his office. Rohit Kumar outlined a strategy to deepfake election speeches.
क्या क्या बन सकता है बेसिकली? हमें आपका पोजीशन को टारगेट करना है, कुछ करना,
कुछ भी बन सकता है इसमें, टू बी फ्रैंक ऑन दिस, कुछ भी बन सकता है।
क्या क्या बन रहा है?
देखिए क्या क्या बन रहा है। अभी ज्यादातर जो चीजें हो रही है, वो जो बन रहा है वो यही है कि भाषण को बदला जाता है।
अच्छा,
अभी तो मार्केट में यही अवेलेबल है,
भाषण को बदल देते हैं। जैसे बोला कुछ और है, हमने एक लाइन हटा के वहाँ पे कुछ और ऐड कर दिया। अब तो उनका वॉइस टोन किसका रहेगा?
वही उसी का रहेगा।
अच्छा,
वॉइस टोन बिल्कुल उसका रहेगा, वो हमने वॉइस फ्रीक्वेंसी मैच कर देते हैं वहाँ पे एआई में। ये मतलब कोई ऐसा मतलब अगर आप इसमें बहुत डिफिकल्ट काम है हमारे लिए, बहुत इजी, मतलब करना हमारे लिए बहुत इजी काम है।
अच्छा,
लीगलिटी पकड़ाना वो एक अलग चीज है। अगर आप ये चाहते हो ना कि पहचान हाइड करना, वो इजी है। पकड़ा क्या जाएगा कि ये वीडियो गलत है या सही है। अच्छा, पहचान नहीं करना हो तो हम यहाँ का आईपी यूज, बाहर का आईपी यूज करके डाल देंगे।
अच्छा,
पकड़ो जाके यूएसए में बंदा बैठा है, हम डालेंगे नहीं इंडियन आईपी से, क्योंकि हमारा ऑडियंस सबसे सपोज हम बीजेपी पार्टी के दोस्तों।
Rohit Kumar insisted that the trend of AI-generated fake content is fairly new but high in demand.
जैसे AI जनरेटेड वीडियो है जिसको डीपफेक आजकल कहते हैं, डीपफेक, तो वो वीडियोस किस लेवल तक, मतलब उसका क्या डिमांड है मार्केट में?
देखिए ये डिमांड बहुत ज्यादा है। एक तो सीधी सी
पॉलिटिकल कैंपेन,
हाँ डिमांड बहुत ज्यादा है, लेकिन अभी टू बी फ्रैंक कोई ऐसा सर्वे कितना परसेंटेज पे वोट इम्पैक्ट होता है, अभी कोई सर्वे नहीं, ये बहुत नया है। मतलब इधर 2-3 मतलब कह लगे 4 महीने से ज्यादा यूज में आया है। कहते हैं कि लोग समझ नहीं पा रहे हैं, अभी डिफरेंस नहीं कर पा रहे हैं कि ये ओरिजिनल है या नहीं। ठीक है, पॉलिटिकल पार्टी में ऑब्वियसली इसकी डिमांड होगी, ऑपरेशन नॉकडाउन वायरल करने के लिए। ठीक है,
लेकिन अगर आप हमसे मुझसे पूछें तो अभी पर्टिकुलर हमारा कोई क्लाइंट उस चीज पे बनाने के लिए हाँ, लेकिन हम बनाते हैं डीप फेक।
ये जो वीडियो जो बनेंगे या जो बन रहे हैं डीप फेक के नाम पे, तो क्या ये फैक्ट चेक में पकड़े जाएंगे या नहीं?
देखिए, एक होता है कि आपने किसी और के वॉइस को ही टेम्पर किया है तो उसको तो पकड़ा जा सकता है। एक हुआ कि आपने क्लाइंट है नहीं, आपने किसी क्लाइंट से कुछ ऐसा बुलवाया जो कि आपके पास नहीं था, ठीक है, तो वो पूरा एआई वीडियो जनरेटेड हो जाएगा और वो तो उसमें क्या पकड़ेगा, वो तो हमारा जनरेटेड वीडियो, हमने कंटेंट के हिसाब से वीडियो जनरेट किया, उसमें कुछ नहीं पकड़ सकता।
We uncover more players in the digital manipulation game. Meraki Group identifies itself as an integrated communications firm. Its directors, Prithvi Raj Kasana and Bhagyashree Singh, laid out their deepfake plan for political campaigns.
नहीं तो आजकल तो बहुत ये हो गया ना, आप लोग तो ये जनरेटेड वीडियो भी यूज होता है ना?
कैसे?
एआई जनरेटेड होता है,
वो लीगल ऑफेंस हो गया।
हाँ, तो करना ही है,
वो भी कर रहे हैं।
डीपफेक की बात कर रहे हैं,
वही एआई जनरेटेड वीडियो।
ये सिस्टम जनरेटेड वीडियोस होता है, ठीक है, वो तो एआई टूल्स होते हैं, स्क्रिप्ट देना होता है, स्क्रिप्ट में कुछ भी अपलोड कर लीजिए, वो इशू नहीं होता।
तो
बोल रहे हैं ना,
तो कुछ भी बोल देगा,
कुछ भी बोल देगा, वॉइस ओवर्स होता है।
तो जो रीजनल लैंग्वेज जैसे भोजपुरी हो गया,
रीजनल भी हो जाएगा। अब लैंग्वेज तो कोई भी इटालियन उठा लो, भोजपुरी उठा लो, कोई भी उठा लीजिए।
We hold another meeting with Bhagyashree Singh and Prithvi Raj Kasana at their Noida office. They now firmed up the strategy for the campaign.
अच्छा, देखिए, सब करना है, नेगेटिव पब्लिसिटी भी करना पड़ता है, पॉजिटिव भी करना पड़ता है, क्राइसिस मैनेजमेंट भी करना पड़ता है, मीडिया ये सब के अलावा भी आगे बढ़ के चीज़ें करनी पड़ती हैं, आप तो खुद ही समझते हैं। देखिए, सब चीज़ करना ही पड़ता है।
मैडम एआई वाला कैसे सॉर्ट आउट करेंगे? तो मैंने
सॉर्ट आउट क्या करेंगे? सब होगा, सब हो रहा है, जो मार्केट में हो रहा है, देखिए पॉलिटिशियन हर चीज़ को लेके हम लोग हर चीज़ हैमर करेंगे।
नहीं, तो मेरा ये कहना है कि हमें बिल्कुल वो हाई क्वालिटी वाली चीज़ जिसे समझ में ना आए कि ये
आपका हर काम हाई क्वालिटी होगा। काम को लेके मैं फिर बोल रही हूँ, आप let the expert do their work, आप काम को लेके छोड़े।
नहीं, मतलब जैसे अभी
मुझे आपसे क्या चाहिए, सबसे पहले स्ट्रैटेजी अप्रूवल, दूसरा बजट अप्रूवल, तीसरा कंटेंट अप्रूवल हम लोग आपसे कराते रहेंगे। बस बाकी क्या क्या कैसे कैसे हैमरिंग करना है वो आप हम पे छोड़ दीजिए, एकदम तसल्ली के साथ आप अपना काम कराइए, ठीक है। काम को लेके आप मेराकी से निश्चिंत रहें। हाँ, चीज़ें होंगी टचवुड जिसमें हमें आपको थोड़ा आपको लगेगा कि ये भी होना चाहिए, ये भी चीज़ें होना चाहिए, आप सजेशंस, वी आर ऑलवेज ओपन टू सजेशंस।
Meraki Group then sent the budget proposal, demanding 30 lakh rupees for 11 potential candidates. This campaign proposal included AI-driven videos for political hammering. As technology advances, the line between truth and manipulation becomes increasingly difficult to discern. The threat of deepfakes casts a long shadow over the democratic fabric of our nation. Mohammad Hezbollah for India Today's Special Investigation Team.
In November, when we brought you the deepfakes expose for the first time, it was highlighted as a problem in the future. In December, the problem is already upon us. The election season still a few weeks away, or some could say we're already actually at the beginning of this election cycle. What does the government intend to do about this challenge? And how are political parties looking at the fact that we've now got at least 3 companies which are digital media influencers claiming to use these AI tools, already saying several politicians are actively engaging their services to create deepfakes of their opponents. So this is a big problem in the making. To talk about this, I've got Guru Prakash Paswan, national spokesperson of the BJP, Mohan Kumaramangalam from the Congress, Jitin Jain, who's a cyber security expert. We've got Balkrishnan, executive editor at the fact check team in India Today, and Ankit Kumar, who heads our open source investigation. I want to go across to Guru Prakash Paswan first. The Prime Minister twice over has highlighted the challenges of deepfake. He was shown the India Today investigation the morning after we ran it. That day itself, he spoke about the challenges. Now we're seeing, Mr. Paswan, that there are already these social media, digital influencer operations that claim that parties and individuals are coming to them wanting to tarnish the image of their opponents. How do you in the ruling BJP intend to deal with this expose, and what do you intend to do about it?
No, Rahulji, I think it's absolutely essential now to have a very deep and meaningful conversation on this issue. And I saw that in your opening remarks, you also played out the remarks made by the Prime Minister on multiple occasions. And I was going through his remarks during the Smart India Hackathon event as well, during the virtual G20 summit, where he's speaking about the global regulation of AI, and obviously the Diwali Milan that was organized by the Bharatiya Janata Party. He gave a very categorical example of himself as well. Rahulji, I think on November 7th this year, the government issued an advisory to social media intermediaries on a couple of very important things. On the observation of IT rules, on the following of due diligence effectively, and also a time window of 36 hours to take strict actions. And there is absolutely no disagreement on the front that there is a need of a comprehensive national legal framework when it comes to dealing with the problem or the crisis of deepfake. But on the government front, the strategy now, which you are very well aware of, that the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, they have given a 4-pillar approach. The number 1 is detection, number 2 is preventing the spread, number 3 is fortifying the reporting mechanism, and number 4 is raising awareness. And apart from the government, I'm sure, Rahulji, you also agree with this point that the citizenry, the active and the conscious role of citizen is fundamentally very important in preventing this menace. The citizen need to report as soon as it comes.
That's the whole point of this being a deep fake.
Anyone of
that
us,
a citizen may not be able to tell that it's a fake just by looking at it. That's how good the technology is getting. In fact, I've just received word that the Information Technology Ministry has issued a second advisory now on deepfakes. Balkrishnan has more details. You've gone through that letter that's been sent out by the Ministry of Information and Technology. Bala, what does it say to these social media companies?
Rahul, the ministry has said that the social media should abide by what the guidelines that the ministry had given earlier, which is like tagging any content that is AI generated. So what the ministry wants, if the content is generated by AI, it should be clearly tagged so that people can make out that this is a content.
Have you heard from social media companies about what they intend to do about it? Did they respond at all to the first advisory?
Most of the social media companies have said that they plan to abide by this, but because this, as the Prime Minister himself said, this problem is evolving, it is a dynamic problem, so social media companies are not themselves very sure whether how difficult it is going to be implemented, because right now they are also struggling to find out a mechanism which can automatically pick up anything which is generated by AI and tag it. So people are going to take a while, and there has to be a system. That system will take its own time to evolve when everybody puts something and that it is tagged. So as of now, companies have said that they plan to abide by this, but it is going to take a while to...
Ankit, at the India Today Mediaplex, we're constantly dealing with the challenge of deepfakes. You know, Guru Prakash Paswan says something logical, but it's not logical because it's not so simple for citizens to be able to tell what's a deep fake and what is not. Explain to our viewers how this technology has already been actively used in elections like in Argentina and the kind of threats it could pose in the Indian Lok Sabha elections.
To give you some context, Rahul, if you see the 2014 elections, the large part of the campaign was influenced by what was happening on Facebook. Cut to 2019, it was WhatsApp. Now, there is general agreement among all the people who track election and information ecosystems. They agree that the 2024 elections in India are largely going to be driven by AI. Now, what we have seen some of the trends, as you say, let's say a very common theme is vox pop, what common people are saying. Now, traditionally, what happens is a journalist, let's suppose Prime Minister is addressing a rally in Chennai. A journalist goes there, talks to people, gives the feedback, sentiment, what is happening there. Now, what we have seen in some of the examples is that you can create those videos of fake people, people who do not exist, and put words in their mouth, whatever you want to do, right, by any political party. Now, the characters that you see, that you have just seen in the package that Hezbollah has done in the investigation, those are mostly digital marketing companies. Those people work with the larger poll management companies. So what we are seeing here is a pattern that might just explode in next few months, because there are already some examples that we have seen, as you rightly said, in Argentina. In fact, not just Argentina, in UK the authorities have said that they find AI as the single largest challenge. From a policy point of view, what we expect is, rather than just asking viewers to be aware, the government, and I think Election Commission should also come in here, should at least expect the technology companies to adopt the same standard that they adopt in the US. When it comes to
what do they do in the US which they don't do over here?
One pattern that we see is that they come out very vocally. They set up election integration centers. For example, I will give you one example.
What does an election integration center do?
They come up with certain policies. You will see different kind of speed when it comes to election disinformation. They will act more proactively than other kind of disinformation. So that means is dedicated resources within a big tech company to combat election-related misinformation. We have seen it in past elections, in US elections as well. When it comes to India, some companies, let's say Google does it to some extent, Facebook does it to some extent. Platforms like Twitter, there's absolutely no mechanism in India, right? If I'm a journalist, I write to Twitter's press team. Twitter's press team does not exist. There is a mandate from Elon Musk that we don't entertain journalists. So even if I find a deepfake video that might hamper Indian elections and I write to Twitter's team, nothing will happen. Right?
Okay. So those are very big problems. Mohan Kumaramangalam, how does the opposition view the challenges posed by deepfakes, and what's your sense of how the government seems to be reacting and responding to this challenge?
So I heard what the Prime Minister said couple of times that he spoke about it. And I'm actually glad to hear Guru Prakash Paswan talk about a more holistic approach in dealing with it, because the only public pronouncements I've heard from Rajiv Chandrasekhar, who's the MOS for Electronics and Information Technology, was that he maintained that existing laws are adequate to deal with deepfakes if enforced strictly. But all the existing laws, whether that be the many sections of the IT Act, are all post facto. There's almost nothing about preventive measures there, and they also rely on the affected person or the person who's detecting the deepfake to report it. And then an FIR is registered, and then now you have to worry about how efficient are police forces in actually identifying the perpetrators. Most of the rest of the world, and I would say chiefly the United States, has already moved on to mandating things such as watermarking and labeling AI-generated content. In fact, just a couple of months ago, Joe Biden signed an executive order on this, and he's tasked their Department of Commerce with developing standards to label AI-generated content. There's also been a deepfakes accountability bill that first was introduced there in 2021, and I think now they've reintroduced it in 2023. The MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, actually has created a deepfakes website to help people identify deepfakes. So, what we are doing is we're basically issuing notifications saying that we will penalize the intermediaries if they don't take it down in a certain amount of time. But, the second it's out there today, no matter what the content is, it gets viral faster than you'd have time to take it down. And by that time, the damage is often done to the person who, who's
no, and timing becomes critical, Jiten Jain. Remember, let's assume if it happens now in December and polls are in April, May, it's not so bad. Imagine that the phase of polling is on the 16th of April. This comes out in the afternoon of the 15th. A political party puts it out on their WhatsApp groups the same afternoon, and it spreads across the length and the breadth of the reach that these political parties have. And the national parties have massive reach, and the regional parties in their regions have a lot of reach. So before you can respond, react, try and take it down, the damage is already done.
Rahul, this is the problem we have discussed many times, that timing is very, very critical in detecting and taking down a deepfake. And the 4 points Guru pointed out, which Prime Minister said, or, IT Ministry is saying that you detect and then, report it and then, crowdsource and raise public awareness. See, all these things can work only if you are able to do the step number 1, which is detection. The technology to detect a deepfake is not available today. I mean, even we tied up with Google almost 3-4 years ago to try out their, in-lab models to detect a deepfake videos. But most of all those models which any companies have today, are all learning of this crowdsourced model of deepfakes which have been detected. It is like an antivirus where it is only able to detect a virus which has already been reported in any part of the world. But the moment there is a 0-day or a new virus, it is not able to detect. So today's notification of IT Ministry that any machine-generated video which is on the platform or any social media platform, these companies have to forcibly notify the users that this is a machine-generated video and all those things. See, this is going to be a dangerous game. You can only flag a video that it is a machine-generated one only when you are able to detect it. And suppose, let's God forsake, you are able to detect 5 videos which are machine-generated and you flag it as a deepfake. Then there are 10 more videos which are actually deepfake and which you have not detected, and then people will believe it just because they don't have a label of machine-generated videos. So what do you do with that?
No, and you could do something wrong which gets caught on camera and later say, nahi, mera to deepfake ban gaya.
This is what I discussed with your show last time, Rahul, that tomorrow if there is a bona fide video or a bona fide report of a politician taking a bribe or doing something which is illegal or unconstitutional, and a mainstream news channel puts it out, that politician will get up and say, look, it's a deepfake, take it down immediately. And you have no wherewithal to actually go to any lab or any government lab or even a private lab to get a report that, look, this video is a deepfake, because it is going to be a game of interpretation. There is no 100% authentic report which can say that this video is a machine generated or a deepfake video. Now, obviously, if it is a face swap and all, you can figure it out. But if it is a pure second generation, video created by second generation deep learning models, there is absolutely no way today any lab can figure that out. Third, now, see, no matter what guidelines you give, no matter what laws you pass, no matter what notifications you give, this is a non-enforceable law or a guideline, because there is no technology which is available today. So what we have to do is you have to follow an Argentinian model where you have to understand that there's going to be a reality in 3 months from now where everybody would be using deepfakes. You will not be able to stop it. You will not be able to label it. You will not be able to regulate it. So you learn to live with it, whether you like it or dislike it. If you can't avoid it, you have to welcome it. So the point is, like, everybody in Argentina was using deepfake videos on both the sides, and at times they were both ethical enough to label those videos as machine-generated ones. So I think India has to go for that reality model where you have to figure it out that this is going to stay, you can't regulate it. Third, forget UK, forget America, or forget India. Imran Khan, just a couple of days back, gave a speech on a video speech which was completely generated using deep learning models. Because he was in jail, he gave some facts to his lawyer, and his lawyer said, okay, we are going to create a deepfake speech of Imran Khan, and that was that went viral in Pakistan. So this is going to be a reality in the South Asian continent also. The technology which was available for $50,000 till 3 years ago is now available for a $20 subscription per month.
No, but all of it isn't necessarily negative. For example, Prime Minister Modi at a recent function, he was speaking at the Kashi Tamil Sangam. He tried an experiment where his speech, which was in Hindi, was translated by artificial intelligence using the Bhashini app into Tamil. So I'll show you what the Prime Minister said. Others had headsets on, and these are non-Hindi native speakers, and therefore, instead of listening to the Prime Minister speak to them in Hindi, they're getting an AI it's not perfect, it's far from perfect, but you kind of get a sense of what he's saying far better than if you're just hearing him speak Hindi and you don't hear the language that you understand. So let's listen to what the Prime Minister said, and remember, this was strong. So there are positive uses as well. It's not all negative, but how do you try and ensure that the good stays and the bad is dealt with? Here's the Prime Minister and his speech being translated using AI into Tamil. So in that video, the Prime Minister is speaking in Tamil, and the Prime Minister is speaking in Hindi, and it's getting translated using AI into Tamil. That's the way that whole function happened, and that's the first time that they experimented with this. So there are positive things that can be done, Jitin Jain. The problem is that it can also be used in a very negative fashion. The other thing is, it's not 100%. So let's imagine somebody looks at the translation and finds something which is off. Again, the bit which is misrepresented could become like a big political issue, whereas maybe the Prime Minister or anybody else who was making that speech never said something like that. So there are lots of different kinds of challenges here.
Best of messages have always been lost in the translation. Wars have started because of a translation mistake. Now, the point is, this is not the first time. Even in 2019, a BJP MP, Manoj Tiwari, used several machine-generated videos. He had, videos for campaigns where Manoj Tiwari was fluently speaking in Urdu, English, Tamil, Gadwali, and all those things. And he never labeled them as deepfake. So see, those were initial days where he was trying to reach out to constituencies in different languages. But the point is, the bona fide way would be for any politician today that if they are using officially a machine-generated videos for political campaigning or canvassing, they have to label it as a machine-generated video. I think that is going to be an ethical approach. Now, dealing with this political, campaign companies which are going to create deep fakes, at times to slander and malign reputations or create fake videos of cabinet meetings like it happened in Madhya Pradesh, where a fake video of Shivraj Singh's cabinet meeting was circulated just 2 days before the election. So these problems are going to stay. The only way this is going to happen is that you have to create a consolidated joint war room of all social media companies right here in India under the command of Election Commission, where if a deepfake video is generated, there has to be no reporting mechanism. On the command of the constitutional authority, it has to be taken down immediately on the flick of seconds. You can't have a mechanism where you have a 30-minute or even a 2-hour run for taking down a reporting mechanism of video. Just imagine a situation.
No, but if it's on WhatsApp, you don't know. If it's on social media, it's in public and you do know.
No, if in 2019, suppose just 2 days before an election, a deepfake video of Anil Ambani discussing with Prime Minister Modi would have emerged, कि साहब ये क्या हो गया, अब तो रफाल वाला भी कैसे दबाएंगे? Just a 13 or 14 seconds clip would have changed the result and discourse of entire election. I mean, no matter which lab you go, no matter what political press release you give or press conference you do, you would have never been able to justify that video, that whether it was a deepfake or a real one. So this is going to be a perpetual problem. Tomorrow, if a video comes of any big business house about a political or personal rift in family or anything, the stocks of that company will dwindle, the stock market will collapse within half an hour. And by the time you realize it was a deepfake or a miscreant who was playing something, or an adversarial intelligence agency who was doing this work, the damage would have already been done.
Mohan Kumaramangalam, the noteworthy thing is, in both the instances in India which have come to light with the videos around Shivraj Singh Chauhan, those seem to have been done by somebody definitely not in the BJP. I mean, you were the only opponents over there, so while there's no evidence to suggest the Congress did it, but people aligned with that idea seem to have done those kind of videos.
You're certainly alluding to it, Rahul, but that's not the case. Wasn't an FIR.
Unless you're saying those who didn't like Shivraj in the BJP, unhone nahi karaya.
I'm not even saying that, Rahul. I'm just saying there was a video of Kamal Nath as well saying something that was a deep fake that was circulated. I'm surprised you've forgotten about that. There was an FIR filed during the elections. 4 FIRs were filed. 2 of them were regarding the deep fake video of Kamal Nath. And let's not get into the disinformation game, because we all know that the BJP plays that better than anybody else. They've been cutting, clipping, taking out of context videos ad nauseum for ages. I wanted to make a substantial point about what your cybersecurity expert was saying. See, even China now has these watermarking or these labeling initiatives. They have regulations around it. And I know there will always be tools. There will always be tools on the dark web. There'll always be unauthorized tools that you can use to make AIs. But the ones that will survive the test of time and be clean and be, whatever, accessible for a fee, will need to make sure that anyone who uses their tools automatically gets a watermark, automatically has some identifier linked to it. So any video created by anybody using one of those tools will then, therefore, when it goes out there, be identified immediately.
Can that be done, Ankit? That if it's, like, for example, if it's done, if there's a video that you've edited on InShot, it says InShot over there, so it auto-generates the name of the tool that's been used and somehow gets ingrained into the video.
But in the same platform that you mentioned, there's a premium version that removes the watermark also. So it's a business. See, this debate is, I think we should discuss the institutional point. One cannot always kind of create frameworks to do away with what an individual might do. But what the big companies can do, what the AI companies can do. Now, the watermarking debate has been there. In fact, it was discussed with, it has come up with discussions with people who run Midjourney, the popular image generation website. Unless the governments come together and pass a very clear directive. The gentleman gave the example of China. The reason why it was possible, or it is possible to do in China, is because there is large censorship in China. You cannot just operate any company in China without very strict government
the Americans are doing
regulations. What we have seen is that there is no clear agreement within policy, within people who are framing all those policies, not even in the US, not even in the UK, because then it becomes a question of freedom of expression, creativity, free business, free market, and then disinformation. So that debate is already going on. If there is a diktat, if there is a regulation that, okay, all the companies who are creating, let's say there is Runaway, there is Mid-Journey, there are open source models. Even if you regulate these kind of for-profit companies, there are open source models which can be used by anybody or which can be modified by anybody. So it's a race against time, but yes, if all the governments or most governments come together, pass some kind of diktat, to some extent the institutional abuse can
but remember, all this will take time. Trying to get international consensus on an issue like this may take time. Our elections are here and now, and that's the big problem. Maybe if there were elections a few years away, it's a different matter. These elections are here and now, and therefore Bala, Ankit and our team will keep tracking this menace. We've been ahead of the curve in the story. We'll continue to do that. Let's see how and what action is taken against the operators who've been exposed by India Today, by their own admission, who are already making these kind of deepfake videos for different kinds of political players. So we'll track what happens tomorrow very closely here on India Today. I'm slipping into a break. I'll have more for you when we come back on the other side. Stay with us. We're back.
India, as you know, is a land of diversity, where countless stories are born every day. A brand that has celebrated the rich mosaic of our country, India Today, is the brand that has been covering stories from all spheres of life from across the country tirelessly, making sense of the myriad India and the Indians residing in here. The story of India Today and the story of my latest film, Donkey, which is inspired by the phenomenal dreams and struggles of the same Indians and is a story about love and friendship filled with humor and heart.
हमने मजबूरी में अपना घर छोड़ा था, वरना कोई अपना देश, अपना परिवार, अपने दोस्तों को छोड़कर क्यों जाएगा सरहदों पे गोली खाने?
While my film Donkey symbolizes the struggle of many who leave home and their loved ones behind in the hope for a better life, they miss their homeland in this tough bargain. But it's their spirit that helps them carry on. India Today has been capturing the indomitable spirit of being an Indian for over 5 decades now. India Today, making sense to India, making sense of India.
मैंने हर बार ये कहा है, वाजपेयी जी ने जो कहा था कि दोस्त बदलाए जा सकते हैं, पड़ोसी बदलाए नहीं जा सकते। अगर हम पड़ोसियों के साथ दोस्ती में रहेंगे तो दोनों तरक्की करेंगे, अगर दुश्मनी में रहेंगे तो हम आगे नहीं बढ़ सकते इतनी तेजी से। फिर मोदी जी का है बयान, प्रधानमंत्री का, कि वॉर इज नॉट एन ऑप्शन नाउ, अब बातचीत से मसले हल करने हैं। कहाँ है वो बातचीत? आज इमरान खान छोड़ दीजिए, आज नवाज शरीफ वहां के वजीर आजम बनने वाले हैं। वो चिल्ला चिल्ला के कहते हैं हम बात करेंगे। क्या वजह है कि हम बातचीत के लिए तैयार नहीं है? अगर बातचीत से हमने ये सुलझाया नहीं तो माफी चाहता हूं आपसे कहने का, हमारा भी वही हाल होगा जो आज गाजा का और पैलेस्टीनियन का हो रहा है, जिन पे आज बमबारी की जा रही है इजराइल की तरफ से। कुछ भी हो सकता है, अल्लाह ही जाने हमारा हाल क्या होगा। अल्लाह रहम करे हम पे।
Sorry.
लाओ भैया दो चंदा डब्बे में डालो तुम, खत्म हो रहा पैसा मदद कर दो तुम। लाओ भैया दो चंदा डब्बे में डालो तुम, खत्म हो रहा पैसा मदद कर दो तुम। जिंगल 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 करो, सिंगल 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 ही दे दो।